Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, man. But before we get into our main topic, by the way, I did a
Yes.
horrible job of introducing it. Today, y'all, we're gonna be reviewing the '80s cinematic classic Roadhouse, featuring the great Patrick Swayze. So before we get into that, Ari, we got to talk about the wrestler who brought us to that review. Because once
Yes,
again, at
sir.
Four Corners Cinema, it doesn't matter if it's a movie, TV show, any form of media. If it's a pro wrestler in it, we're going to review it. So we got to talk about my guy, my man's Terry Funk. Great wrestler, Hall of Fame, recently departed. So rest in peace to him and
Rest in
rest
peace.
in power to his
Mm.
memory and his legacy and all of that good stuff. But terrific career spanning from his days of NWA, his great feud in Memphis with the great Jerry Lawler,
Yeah.
going all the way to Japan when he and his brother Dory were there at all Japan Pro cooking, being big baby faces. And of course, the modern wrestling fan, a lot of us would recognize him from his days of ECW, being
Yep.
the timeless legend. Who's that old man in that wrestling ring? Man, that's Terry Funk, and he's getting the
Him
shit
and
off.
Foley going psycho in the ring, yo.
Exactly, exactly. And speaking of him and him and Cactus Jack, they
Yeah.
had a terrific match. IWA, King of the Death Match,
Oh yes, yeah.
classic match, one of the YouTube classics. If you're a wrestling fan, it's there. Go check it out. But let's talk about Terry, man. What are your thoughts on the legend?
Like you said, for me, it started seeing him ECW, those red, black, and white striped pants,
Hmm.
OG coming out and just as savage as everybody else, brash talking, sounds like any crazy old vet that you'll run into or
Right.
some shit like that. I mean, but his passion for the industry, his history, his family's history, to see how his roots is really deep in this wrestling shit and not just
Hmm.
some old castaway wrestler just happened to be trying to collect a check in ECW. No, it's deeper than
Right.
rap with him. It was a reason why they were happy to bring him over there.
Definitely.
Knowledge and a lot of the stuff, man. Just hearing how he talked about hardcore wrestling, he made it sound like an art. So just to see him, what I'm saying, in that element and in the space I did, it was still just as impactful as it probably was for somebody back then because he still had that same passion for the game. So
Definitely.
seeing later saying what he did with Foley, the tag team fields and such like that, like with Cactus Jack. I mean, it was really dope stuff, man. Like when I think about hardcore wrestling, when I think about like real passionate Southern wrestling,
Hmm.
I think about Terry Funk every time.
Definitely.
Every time. When I think about Southern wrestling, I think about Terry Funk. He is the epitome and the face of what a wrestler who was coming from the South and that energy they brought with them
Hmm.
really represented. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Terry Funk, man.
Definitely,
Real
man.
the Funk
Definitely.
Meister.
I always think of Terry as like the perfect pro wrestler because
Mm-hmm.
he was an awesome heel. He was an
Yeah.
asshole. Like if you go back to him feuding with Ric Flair, WCW, perfect heel. Him in Memphis, he was an asshole, but you wanted to see him get beat up.
Yep.
But he was a believable, crazy, like you knew something was slightly off with him. So
Like, yo, he just
it
gonna
was
throw that chair across the room like that?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, he was about that. So I mean, and he was a good baby face when they gave him the chance. Like
Mm-hmm.
in Japan, all Japan, he was a baby face. Him and Dory, they were the brawling country white guys coming to Japan and wrecking shit. They were baby
Yeah.
faces and they were
Yeah.
hella over. And when it came to ECW, of course he was the old school hero. He was the legend. So he was a baby
Yes.
face. Had a great feud with Shane Douglas at the beginning of ECW type
Man.
deal. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. He was a legend, man. He was a legend. Did you get a chance to check out that exploding uh that
Yeah.
exploding ring match that I sent you?
Yeah, I got pieces of it. So when I
Okay.
was watching it, watching it with the homie and such, it is like I'm trying to like really see the differences of how like where really Kenny Omega and them went wrong.
And
And
yeah.
it's a lot of places, bro. but the match itself was amazing. Like I said, it was that's like the other part of wrestling that you can really just sit back and not try to be super focused on, oh, this move and this sequence and stuff. Now you really just
Storytelling.
gotta sit back. Yeah, you just sit back and watching the show, bro. That's one of them type of matches you just gotta sit back and let the artist paint.
Mm-hmm.
Just let them paint the picture and you'll be satisfied at the end. You don't gotta know what it is. Just sit back and watch, bro. And that was one of those
Mm-hmm.
matches. So I always gotta appreciate gimmick matches like that they take it to a next level, pushing the boundaries, moving the ceiling higher. And Terry Funk was always a guy. I talk about looking at this shit as an art and not just maiming yourself.
Right,
Like,
right.
no, this dude is really taking shit to another level. So when the next person comes in, they be like, damn, I seen that match. You know what I'm saying? Now I know I have to go up another level for these fans because after they
Right.
seen that, that's going to be implanted in their mind forever, as it is to this
Mm-hmm.
day. You know what I'm saying? A lot of those funk matches are still implanted in our minds to this day, just because of the extra effort he put in, character wise,
Mm-hmm.
selling wise, anything when it came to these type of matches. So yeah, shout out to that fucking. I might have to watch it
And
again.
yeah,
You know?
that match in particular, man, it was
Yeah,
so many stories going on in that. And it's really a shame thinking about I saw the vision. That's my
yeah,
thing about AEW's Moxley Omega match. I saw the vision and I enjoyed that match all throughout. Even
yeah.
them trying to tell the story, especially toward the end with my guy
Oh,
was
Kingston.
Kingston coming out. That's storytelling, but the execution of the effects just went there. It is what it is. It's a shame that that match is remembered for that failure of a effect versus what they were trying to get off, which was
Yeah,
it was a good quality storytelling, at least
yeah.
attempt at it. But
Take him out! Take cover! Get him over! No! Kingston! Oh my! Oh my God! Kingston covering John Moxley.
Kingston protecting Moxley.
That shit is a 2-pack of ass. The fuck are you talking about? That shit stinks.
shout out to them. Hopefully they try to run it back one time. They just
Just one
gotta
more time.
spend some more money on some effects. That's
And
all.
just take it. You might have to take it out of the arena if you really. Well, no,
Oh
not take it
yeah,
out of the arena. They had theirs in the arena, but their shit was outside. So I'd probably better maybe if it was outside.
man, it's
Oh,
gotta
it was at
be.
Daly's place, right? Never mind. So that
Yeah,
was at
Daly's
Daly's place.
place is so close. I mean, it's too close. Like it's
Oh,
dangerous to have an explosion. Like if you compare what they did in FMW with Funk and Onita, like the nearest fan was probably what, like 20 feet away from that ring. Like it wasn't
okay.
like
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Dailies
yeah.
is
It
way
was
too
pretty spaced
close.
out. Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
yeah. So from a logistics, they couldn't get that off, but hopefully they try that again in some form or fashion. But shout
Yeah.
out to Onita, one of my favorite wrestlers. I know Moxley's a fan because he uses Wild Thing. That was Onita's theme for the longest. But shout out to him anyway. But look,
Oh, I didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah. That's the reason. Like I think Omega and Moxley are definitely Onita fans because you saw so many shades or inspirations throughout that match from that man. So
Yeah,
shout
nah.
out.
Onita's definitely gangster.
If
Definitely gangster.
if you talking about a pro wrestler who is slightly off,
Yeah,
that's my man.
he's
That's
he would have went crazy in the states during the '90s, bro.
Mhm.
Like that mid late '90s, he would have went stupid. I'm surprised he didn't have any like short stints. I mean, you know how you come over to ECW, while
Yeah.
out for a little bit, you know what I'm saying, go to maybe have a WCW or something like that. But nah, that dude definitely was different. But that's what I like about finding different wrestlers like that over in the eastern side of us, you know what I'm saying, the states or
Hmm.
the country and such, because dog, it seems like just culturally you would think only the American wrestlers are like, you know what I'm saying, this crazy when it comes to wrestling
Oh
and
nah.
such. Man, they got some
Yeah.
guys over
They
there that will have you, bro.
yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, for
But not,
sure. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, and of course, look us up on socials at Suplex Dinner Club. And be sure to check out our other projects. We talk college football on Dogs versus All Y'all. That's a weekly college football podcast where we don't just talk about the Georgia Bulldogs. We talk about all things college football. The Life and Times pod, which is short for the Life and Times of a Restaurant Lifer podcast, where I have some chill conversations with some cool and interesting people that I've met in my years in the hospitality industry. And of course, check out Talk 'em in the Building. That's a pro wrestling podcast where we solely focus on the promo. We talk about the talkers, we hype the hype man, and we pontificate on the promo. It's a fun project, and if you're a pro wrestling fan, I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. If you're into TV and movie reviews, check out Four Corners Cinema with Arri and Adrian, a podcast where two lifelong pro wrestling fans review film and other forms of media that just so happen to have some of our favorite pro wrestlers. The Suplex Dinner Club family is growing, and I would love for you to be a part of it.